Hello, America. I am Todd Boating, and welcome to another Lessons from the Front. Today, my guest is a very special guest who has a very interesting story, interesting background, and I can't wait for him to share that with us. His name is Jo Jo Esposito. He is a member of the Rescue 5 fire department, or excuse me, the fire and rescue team from the Fire Department of New York. JoJo has seen quite a few things through his years, and he is prepared to share some of those lessons and stories with us today. And with that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. JoJo Esposito, welcome to Lessons from the Front. Thank you, Todd.
Very, very honored to be here with you guys.
Well, we're honored to have you, and I'm excited in an unusual way to hear about the events that have led us together. And as we all know, 9/11 is right around the corner. 9/11 is a day that is it's still felt almost 20 years later amongst a lot of us, you more than a lot of people. It's still held in a lot of high reverence with much of America, but you for a lot more reasons than a lot of people. And so before we get into that, though, you've spent now, is it almost 35 years or just over 35 years in the New York Fire Department?
I had 35 years this August.
This August. Holy cow. And if I'm not mistaken, you've got sons that are going to be taking over your position in the fire department. Is that correct?
Well, hopefully my son Vincent's on the list, and right now the list is stopped because of this COVID stuff, so I'm not putting classes in. But hopefully within another year and a half, he'll be on.
Well, I hope he's able to continue the tradition. And from everything that I've read and studied, your family is extremely dedicated to New York in general and the fire department in specific. What led you to the fire department?
It was my brother Michael, who passed away on 9/11. I was working construction. I was making $1,000 a week. And he told me, take the test. I said, no, I don't want to do that. You get paid every 2 weeks. I was making good money back there in the 80s. So I didn't want to join, but he convinced me to take the test. So I took the test. No big deal. I got high on the test. I was the third class off the list, and I never looked back. I mean, from making all that money to getting paid maybe $230 every 2 weeks was a tough adjustment. But I tell you what, you learn to love the job, and you learn to appreciate everything that goes with it. So I was very, very happy that I made that decision to join.
So your brother convinced you to take a job that paid a fraction of what you were making.
Yeah.
You got paid a lot less. It was arguably more hazardous, and you said, "Hey, why not? That sounds like the perfect gig for me."
Yeah, I figured, hey, if I don't like it, I could always quit. Wasn't a big deal, but like I said, you learn to love it with the excitement and the brotherhood of the other firefighters, guys senior to you. It was a great experience. So I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change one thing I did.
So obviously there is a tremendous amount of brotherhood. I hear that all the time throughout the fire department. In the military, we have our own versions of that. For those who have never served in uniform or in harm's way like you have, give everybody a little glimpse into that. When you talk about brotherhood, what does that brotherhood mean? How do you describe that?
Well, it's tough for outsiders to understand it, just like the military. Unless you're part of it, you really don't understand it. But we get together, we come to a roll call, and you're with certain guys, just like in the military has a certain group, and they go out and they have a mission, and our mission is when that bell rings, my life is in your hands and your life is in my hands. And we look out for each other. It's a dangerous job, but we always want to make sure that we come home. And it's not like any other job. I mean, our families are together, our wives go out together, the kids play together, we go on trips. It's a really big family, and it's just tough to explain to anybody that's not part of that what we're about. They don't understand it. But it's a great. It's an unbelievable organization to be part of.
And so what I've understood is it's really not a job. It is a way of life. Um, for you guys especially, the way you have a few days on, a few days off. You're always cooking together because you can't really go. In most cases, you can't extend too far from the firehouse, especially when you're working. So it is. I mean, for all of the downside, the upside far outweighs it, is what I've understood. Is
Without a
that fair
doubt.
to say?
It's fair to say. It's fair to say. It's another family that you joined. You have another family. My wife yells at me all the time that I'm more with them than her sometimes, but it's just the way it is. It's like you said, it's 24/7.
So you're originally from New York, correct? Staten Island?
Correct.
So I'm just kind of curious. How would you describe a stereotypical New Yorker?
Well, people say I'm the typical New Yorker. Talk about food and tough talk and all that stuff. That's a typical New Yorker. Nothing bothers them, and then if it does, then we take care of it.
So,
Always full-minded, that's for sure.
well, I want to tell you what I spent about a week in New York years and years ago, even before I joined the Marine Corps. And I will tell you that what I found about New Yorkers, and being from Texas, there's all kinds of y'all had an influx of New Yorkers into Texas at one point, and we were like, hey, where are all these New Yorkers coming from? That's all I knew about New York. And so I spent about a week up there, and what I found about New Yorkers is, with all of the things that you just described, some of the most absolutely genuine people on this earth. Now, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask, because you guys you're gonna give people the truth, and it's gonna be the unfiltered version. But I was so enthralled by that because y'all were so genuine, and I worked a basketball camp up there for a week, and I couldn't believe how kind everyone was and how willing they were to help out the guy to their left and their right. So now you take that in general, and then you put it into the fire department where it's even more
Well, New Yorkers
exasperating.
they get a bad rap most of the times, New Yorkers. But like you just said, there is nothing we wouldn't do for somebody. It's true. It's amazing how many great people are out there in this city.
So, kind of using that as a segue, 9/11 was a pretty rough day for New York. It was a rough day for the Esposito family. How did it start for you?
For me, I was on vacation, and my groups were normally in, but I was working on the side. I was running a machine, and one of the guys on the job site said that plane just crashed into the towers, and I was like, really? So, I just figured, oh my God, a small plane, lost control, whatever. And then they said another one hit, and I says, I gotta go. This ain't an accident. And when I got to the firehouse, my father happened to be standing outside the firehouse, believe it or not, and he says, Joe, Mike's working. I said, all right, I'm going in there now, and I'm gonna go get him. So, we took off. We went to the ferry, and while we were on the ferry, the other tower collapsed by down. Both of them came down. So it was getting off that ferry was a very surreal, looked like a movie set for some. It just wasn't real. But as we're marching off the ferry, hundreds of firemen from New York, from Staten Island, the people are cheering like we just invaded Normandy. It was an unbelievable feeling. But as we got to the pile, it was just very devastating. So so what happened was we split up. I had my guys, and we started searching. And I got on the radio. I was trying to call my brother, see if the company was there. But a lot of guys, a couple of chiefs I ran into, and they didn't even want to talk to me because they knew everybody was gone. But it was a very tough day. And then I realized my cousin was working too, and he was gone. So it wasn't a pretty sight down there for us.
So what time did you get down there?
we got together. Probably I got down there by probably around 11:30, 12, something like that, maybe 1. The tower was already down when we got there because they were holding us up for a while. The ferries weren't sure they're going to send them across. And then I didn't come home till the next afternoon because I was ordered home, you know, but we were exhausted. We were shot. And then I came back and I never really left there. I was there till the end, every day and night, holidays, searching for everybody, you know.
So Michael was working with Squad 1.
Correct. He was the officer of Squad 1.
And what kind of unit was Squad 1?
Squad 1 is a specialized unit too. It's just you know, a special operations command. They get made up of rescues and squads. My brother originally was from a rescue, then he became a lieutenant. He went to Squad 1. They do all the stuff that a rescue does. You know, high angle, find space, collapse. But they operate as an engine too. So they have responsibilities as a regular company does, as far as first do responsibilities. But after that, they're a specialized unit. The only thing they don't do that the rescue does is scuba diving.
And so his station was pretty close to the towers?
Well, his company used to go on a 1060 to anywhere in the city. And they were
1060 is what?
1060 is a major emergency. And,
okay.
and they were on Union Street and 6th Avenue. So they were pretty close. They got dispatched right away.
And so his unit made it over there pretty much right away.
Yeah.
Did you talk to anyone who was with him that morning?
No, we didn't get the chance, but there was a woman commissioner that was stuck in the tunnel from the fire department, and my brother and the guys got off the rig and they started walking through the tunnel because the rigs weren't moving. So they started walking, and finally, as it started moving, they jumped on a couple other rigs that were out there. But the commissioner who spoke told me that you know, he knocked on her window and says, "Hey, Commissioner," and he says, "Please be careful." Blah, blah. He goes, "Yeah, no problem. We'll take care of this." And he was telling her to be careful. So that's the only one that I remember that spoke to him last.
And so your brother's nickname was Mel.
Yeah.
Tell us about Mel.
Mel's the regular guy. I don't know if you remember the Ronnie Dangerfield movie. He was the regular guy look and everything, and he wasn't flashy, my brother. He would wear the boxes, and he would wear the Elmer Fudd hat in the winter. So you know, he was just a regular guy, my brother. Unbelievable regular guy, but not flashy at all.
Well, I mean, he talked you into. He was a good salesman too. Talked you into leaving a really good paying job that you liked.
Yeah.
Into a career.
I mean, it took a lot of talking and a lot of yelling, but then I finally decided to go. So.
So is Mel your older brother?
No, he's the middle brother. I had 5 brothers, and he was the middle one.
So when he, how do you picture, since you didn't get the chance to see him or talk to him that morning, how do you picture things went when he got to the towers?
Well, without a doubt, you know, my brother was a professional, and he's probably one of the better firemen that passed away that day. And I have no doubt that he took his guys up there. He told them the situation. He says, "We got to go." And what I think happened to a lot of guys that, especially, you know, when they were saying the buildings could come down, they were trying to get out. They weren't getting out because on the radios, you had guys up there like Terry Hatton and Brown. They're giving maydays. Those guys are great firemen. They're giving maydays. My brother wasn't about to not go up there, you know. And mayday is when a fireman's in trouble and the shit is really going down. So, you know, those guys kept climbing. They might have heard the radios were bad. They might have heard we got to get out, but You know, those guys were given maydays. Fellow firefighters were given maydays. They're not gonna go downstairs.
So when you got to the scene, can you describe what you saw?
It was just surreal. I mean, there was nothing but steel standing up in the thing. You couldn't even see hardly because of the dust. I mean, we got met by dust as soon as we got out of the ferry. And paper, there's nothing but paper flying in the air. It was, you know, it was very, very surreal. And then you heard the noises of the trapped firemen on the Scott packs, the vibro-light alarms. So you heard them until the battery went dead, you know. So it was a crazy scene. Everybody all over the place, not knowing what's happening. Are we still under attack? You know. So we started to do our job. We had to get a hold of ourselves and do our job. You know, and that's what we started to do. We started to look for guys.
I just don't know that I could, imagine that scene. In our last podcast, I spoke to someone who was at the Pentagon, and I told him. Well, he jarred some memories because I was stationed right near the Pentagon on 9/11. But everything I've read, seen, heard, what happened at the Twin Towers was just so incredibly different. Like you said, very surreal. I can only imagine. What about your cousin? What was his story?
My cousin Frankie was in Engine 235 stationed in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. But, that day everybody was going. So they got there, and last I heard they were going into the Marriott Hotel of the second tower. And that's when it went down. But we never found Frankie either. But, he was with his company, and they were doing what they had to do, like everyone else was. Just
so over your right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it was just tough because I'm thinking of Michael, and then someone told you your cousin was working, and I'm like, oh, So my father and my cousin Frankie's father, they're brothers. So,
So in addition to your brother and your cousin, there were 11 members of your unit that went down that day as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then,
actually, it was 14 people that left the firehouse that day, and only one came back. But there was 11 assigned members that perished.
Only one came back.
Yeah, he was in a specialized unit, and he was one of the lucky ones.
So, if I'm not mistaken, the way the fire departments take care of their own, in essence, you adopted a lot of family members that day as a result of that day.
Yeah.
Tell us about your continued involvement with them.
Well, they're family to me. I call them every holiday. A couple of them we went away with together. The kids hang out together. They come to our parties. We go to their parties, the christenings, the weddings, the whole deal. It was funny because when I was trying to take care of a couple of the families, some of them didn't even realize my brother was gone. They didn't really. They said, JoJo, he's lost his brother, and he's taking care of us. I was taking care of my sister-in-law too and her kids. We had a full plate. We had a full plate going, and I try to cover as many bases as I possibly can. But these families to me, we're family. We'll never be separated from here. I'm probably one of the only ones that really is tight with everyone else.
So when you think back to that day, what emotion? What's the first emotion that pops into your heart, into your body?
Well, I was very surprised I even kept it together to continue to do what I did, and it was just to myself, I was just like, I couldn't believe that my brother could possibly be gone. He's too good of a fireman. He's the toughest bastard I ever known. So I was still holding on hope that maybe, you know, they were trapped somewhere and we just didn't get to them yet, you know. But, you know, it was just, I had a lot of guys around me, you know, they're the ones that kept me going, a lot of them. Just, you know, come on, Joe, let's try this. All right, let's go here. You know, if you wandered off to yourself, maybe I would have lost it. But, you know, that's why that brotherhood was so important to me, especially at that time.
When did it sink in?
It had to be like
When did the whole thing just really come to?
I was hoping, I mean, like I said, for 2 days I was hoping, you know, how long could they last? We're figuring it out, blah, blah, blah. But when I had to come home and tell my father and my uncle, you know, I don't think we're going to get them, you know.
And so after about 2 days, the whole thing kind of sunk in that.
Yeah, because you just, you know, as you see the devastation more and more, and you're getting reports about this and reports about that, you know, it was just, you know, we had hope for about 2 days, but that was it.
Do you harbor anger? Do you harbor resentment?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was angry. You know. Yeah, I was pissed off. You know, I could have been working too. You know, I should have been if I wasn't on vacation. Those were my groups. Me and my brother were in the same group in the group shot. But yeah, I was angry. I was angry.
So you mentioned that a couple of times that you're on vacation, and one of the things that that we know about, you know, militarily is something called survivor's guilt. I'm sure you've had to deal with that a little bit.
Well, you know, to tell you the truth, not really. I mean,
good.
It could have been either one of us. It could have been anybody that day. I had a guy that worked in my firehouse that night who never tapped out. My friend Tony hurt his back at a job earlier, went home. He would have been dead too. The guys, they hit us at the time of the changing of the tours. That's why we lost so many firemen, because guys jumped on the rig. You know, this was a major catastrophe. Everybody's going. Nobody's going home. You know, so
is that right? So the timing of it.
The timing of it was when we changed tours. We start at 9 o'clock, but guys come in at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they, you know, send the guy home. I'll relieve you, blah blah blah. But when this thing hit, nobody went home. Everybody stayed. They jumped on the rig. Guys came in from off duty. If I could have got to the firehouse quick enough, I would have been on that rig too. You know. Listen, you went left, you lived. You went right, you died. A lot of guys, you know, that survived. It's either way. Your number was up. It was up. It was just amazing the way it happened.
I'm glad you look at it that way, and I say that sincerely because, you know, there are so many guys that I've talked to in the military, in the first responder units, who don't look at it the way you just said, and there's this guilt of surviving, and I agree with you. I mean, it's just sometimes your number's up, and you know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
No, and you know that going through the military too. You know, yeah, bomb hits this way, or it could have went this way. You know, either way, you know, just to look at a draw. I just couldn't believe when I started to realize how many men we lost. That's when it started saying, wow, it's just a disbelief. And then the civilians on top of that, you know. So.
Over your right shoulder, there's a flag. I'm assuming that that's your brother.
Yeah, that flag. Well, that flag was given to me by the USS New York. Chief retired. He was chief firefighter of the USS New York, and that flag was flown over the ground zero site, and they presented it to me, and I have a certificate for it and everything. It's that was quite an honor. Commanding officer of the USS New York.
So how many days did you spend there in total? You said you were there for 2 days before they sent you home.
I was there from the day one until it closed. You know, on and off. I had to work. When I was working, I was working. And then when I was off, I went down.
And your oldest brother did too, is that correct? Sal?
Yeah, Sal and my other cousin, Sal, they were both working with the contractors at the time. So my brother Sal was running the machines down there. My other brother was cutting in steel, so I had a lot of other cousins working in construction. They were all down there too. So it was kind of a family affair, everybody there. But, I try to watch them because they wanted to help too, but I didn't need to get them hurt. So they had their own job to do, and that's what they were doing. And Sal, he needs a kidney now. He's not wealthy from, not healthy at all from the 9/11. So I'm dealing with that now with him.
I saw a story on that, and I wanted to ask you about that. So I'm glad you brought that up. If I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of hangover effects from the amount of time he spent down there. That certainly contributed to his health issues, from what I researched.
In fact, just 3 weeks ago, he went through a double bypass heart surgery. So he's recovering from that right now, and hopefully, when it gets a little better, we have a donor ready to go. So hopefully, everything will work out.
Well, we'd certainly like to do our part in helping get the word out to see if we can help your brother. I would hate to see another brother pass due to that kind of service. So you're obviously, I mean, you look like you're doing pretty well. I don't hear that the effects have taken hold of you.
I had a cough for a while early on, and I went for a couple of tests, and I know so far, knock on wood, I'm good. I'm good.
Good for you.
I'm a medical miracle.
That's awesome.
I want to show you a picture, Todd. I want to show you a picture of the rig.
Oh, please do.
I hope you can see
the next generation of firefighters back there?
Yeah, that's my son Vincent. You see these two rigs?
Yes.
They were going to that tower there, right? That's Rescue 5 coming through the tunnel with the hazmat rig. There was we had about 3 guys on the hazmat rig, and the rest were on the regular rig.
So was that on 9/11, that picture?
That is 9/11. They were coming right out of the tunnel.
Wow.
Yeah, so that photo was caught, and I had it on a poster. It was kind of, it was the last time we saw our rig going out, going in. So guys are on it.
JoJo, I've got nothing but just respect for what you guys do. While most people are running out of the burning building, you guys run into the burning building, and that's just Todd, it takes special people.
Listen, it pisses me off even more today with what's going on in this country. When we get the ticket to respond to an emergency or a fire, it doesn't say the guy's Jewish, doesn't say he's Catholic, doesn't say he's black, doesn't say he's white. We crawl down that hallway where someone's in trouble. We don't care what color or what religion they are. And this is what burns me up when they talk about racism. We don't care who it is. We're coming to save your life. You call for us, we're coming. And that's what the cops do too, And it just, this day and age is really it's pissing us off, especially the first responders, because we're taking a beating.
So I want you to tell everybody then. We have a saying that we use when we talk about our education program, and that saying is "Be the flag," and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So when I say to you, "Be the flag," what does that mean to you?
With you saying that to me, what that means to me is, be what the flag represents. Why that flag was still flying after the battle. A lot of people sacrificed a lot of things to make that flag live and America live, and it's just a disgrace that people spit at it, burn it, and they're disgracing the whole American concept. We are a bunch of immigrants from everywhere. And that's what made up America. And, you do this stuff in other countries, they cut your head off. So I don't know what the problem is with America, but America is the best country in the world.
Amen to that. And when I think of "Be the flag," and I think of the actual flag, and you brought up, you referenced Fort McHenry and the Star Spangled Banner.
Correct.
I think I just the same thought as that, though, to me, is that flag flying over the debris at Ground Zero.
Yeah, yeah, just like in Iwo Jima, it's a symbol. It's a symbol, and we're very proud of it. And there's a lot of people that spilled a lot of blood for that flag, those Stars and Stripes, and you don't want their memory to be disgraced like that.
No, you don't. So thank you for sharing that thought with us. So, well, I want to be very mindful of your time and very respectful of your time. You shared some unbelievable memories with us, and unfortunately, we're going to have to share the anniversary of that in a couple of weeks. But I'm curious, what did you walk away with after your experience there? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about humanity? What lessons could you take away from that experience?
Well, I learned a lot from that. The first couple of weeks after 9/11, there was no place you want to live than in New York. I mean, they were clapping, cheering. We couldn't do no wrong. A year later, everybody forgets real soon, especially if it's not personal, they forget. And, it's just a shame that, people say, oh, they got the ceremony going on again, when they're going to let it go. We don't let it go. We don't forget. And that was a tragic day in American history, not just New York history. It was in the world. But the lessons I've learned from there is that, you can't take anything for granted. There's good and there's bad in the world, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you just got to go on and try to do the best you can. I could look at myself in the mirror all the time because I know I've done the right thing. I can't say that I question myself about what I might have done or differently, but I did the right thing, and I can live with that.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, this is going to be a pretty easy question for you to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We, carry the load. Our tagline is, "Who are you carrying?" And the concept behind that is there are those who have carried us. There are those who made the ultimate sacrifice so that you and I can continue to enjoy the freedoms in America that we do enjoy. And so my obvious question to you is, who are you carrying?
My back is killing me. I'm carrying a lot of shit. No, I'm carrying the family. I'm carrying the firehouse. Anybody that needs a hand, I'm carrying. I never shied away from it.
And see, that's what I mean when I hear "Be the Flag." I think of great Americans like you, JoJo, and like you said, you're an immigrant, I believe, from Ireland, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, JoJo, I can't thank you enough. I look forward to the time when we can get back out and carry the load, can run the relay again, not virtually, but physically through New York. I'd love to come up there and shake your hand and give you a big bear hug from Texas, because again, people like you y'all are it, man. Y'all are what make America what it is. And I really appreciate and respect all that you and your brothers on the fire engines do. So thank you for giving of yourself.
We appreciate everything you guys do in the military. And, I don't know, I think it was 12 to 13 years ago when Cameron came to the firehouse the first time, and we just hit it off. And, I miss it. We miss it. The guys are looking forward to everything. We do two military things a year, and you're one of them. And we were looking forward to it, but unfortunately, we ain't going to be able to do it this year. So, but we can't have our 9/11 luncheon that we wanted to because none of the venues will allow me to have over 300 people. But we're going to have our mass this year. My priest says, "Don't worry about it. I don't care how many people come. We're having a mass." So. We'll be together with the families again. It's our day. That's our day. 9/11 is our day. And I hope to see you guys next year again. It'd be great.
Well, again, thank you for all you do. We really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you down the road and meeting you in person. And for everybody else out there in America, thank you very much for tuning in. I encourage you to go research the story of these fire departments and these police officers that gave everything on the morning of 9/11 so that others could get out safely. So for all of us that carry the load, thank you for tuning in. And just remember, always, always, always have a very good answer to this question. Who are you carrying?